don't immediately just go to, I hate him for that.
Yeah.
Which is what, but everybody I know here in Hollywood does that. And it's like, you're first of all, you look weak. You look weak. You look like you're so easily gotten. A lot of women, I think, still want a man to be a man. Not an abusive man, but just a man.
Yes.
Yes, I remember, hey.
You're canceled. How dare you?
Bill Maher just dropped a truth bomb so hard it left CNN's Van Jones staring into space. Van Jones came in hot with the usual orange man badge spiel, ready to serve up another dose of progressive preachiness. But Maher, he wasn't having it. He lit the fuse, asked the tough questions no one at CNN would dare touch, and Van fumbled like a freshman at his first debate. You could almost hear the studio lights dim as the awkward silence took over. So how did this woke wrecking ball of a showdown unfold? Buckle up, let's dive in.
Did the panel think of Trump's stint as fry cooker at McDonald's? And it's, you know, I mean, I already addressed this, you know, it's like, they see him differently.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
Yes.
I think when you have somebody who is a world famous superstar, who's a billionaire, et cetera, and they do something you don't expect, it's brilliant media. And I think we gotta acknowledge that this guy is beating the pants off of us with these so-called publicity stunts. It gets into everybody's feeds, and people who are not looking at politics will look at that. I think we just have to have more fun ourselves. We were having a great time during the Democratic convention. If we have more fun, if the Democratic Party is a party of fun, people will join it. We should be doing crazy stuff too.
And if I may add one more thing. It's like, don't immediately just go to, I hate him for that.
Yeah.
Which is what, but everybody I know here in Hollywood does that. And it's like, you're first of all, you look weak.
But before Maher dives back into his brutal takedown, let me make one thing crystal clear. Van Jones may have thought he delivered his best response, but there's a reason Maher went straight for the jugular. Bill Maher has an uncanny ability to sniff out hypocrisy from a mile away, and that's exactly what he did with Van. He saw it, called it out, and decided it was time to put him in his place. Here's why. A lot of Trump critics don't even know why they hate him. They just do. Why? Because he's Trump, period. It's not based on policy, facts, or even reality.
You know, you look like you overreact to anything. I think politics comes out of personality. I'm going to do something extensive on this one day, but personalities. Your personality first. I know people who are conservative politically because I know them. That's just who they are. They're squares. and that's okay. And there are people who just, like, they think Trump is fun like that. I don't get it, but I don't get Taylor Swift.
Maher drops yet another truth bomb on Van Jones, and this one hits even harder. He reminds us that we all have choices, and more importantly, the right to exercise those choices. The real problem? Media outlets like CNN and MSNBC have completely forgotten their role. Instead of just reporting the facts and allowing the audience to make up their own minds, these networks have turned into self-appointed thought police, telling us what to think, how to feel, and who to hate. It's not their job to push narratives. Their job is to present the news, remain neutral, and trust the viewers to come to their own conclusions based on the facts. But here's the catch. Van Jones and others like him don't see it that way. For them, it's all about advancing a specific agenda. Their mission? Stop the Trump train at any cost. Whether it's spreading half-truths, framing every issue through a partisan lens, or outright dismissing opposing viewpoints, their focus is clear. Halt Trump, no matter the cost. And Maher? He's calling them out for it, and he's not holding back.
I'm comparing them, but I'm just saying.
I bet you would have bumped me for Taylor Swift too.
What's this?
You would have bumped me for Taylor Swift.
Oh, and
Of course I would.
Everybody else is turning you down.
I'd bump Kamala for Taylor Swift. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
She's a classy person, and the success she's had, the influence she's had is amazing. I just, you know,
not your cup of tea.
Nikki Glaser was doing my podcast, and I said, I don't get this, Nikki. You've been to 18 concerts. Tell me. And she's like, the music is so amazing. And she said, just watch the Eras tour. You know, it's a 3-hour thing on Apple, I think. And Okay, I did not move the needle at all. This is not great music. To me, but that's just me. I don't get her music, and I don't think Trump's jokes about Arnold Palmer's dick are funny, but other people do. It's not relevant.
Bill Maher's truth bombs land hard on Van Jones, and you can see it in the way he leans in, almost as if he's finally starting to acknowledge the truth. There's no denying the growing toxicity on the left, and it's becoming more apparent that it's driving young men away. Maher's call-out is spot on. The left, especially within its most progressive circles, has developed a narrative that's downright hostile to masculinity. It's as if simply being a man has become an offense in the eyes of the woke mob. On the left, young men are constantly told to apologize for their existence, check their privilege at every turn, and abandon any form of traditional masculinity. This relentless criticism is pushing young men into the arms of other ideologies where they can simply exist without guilt. The left's identity politics has painted masculinity, particularly white, heterosexual masculinity, as something toxic that needs to be redeemed. What's the result? A generation of young men feeling alienated, vilified, and pushed to the margins, while left-wing leaders fail to recognize how their own rhetoric is driving away a crucial segment of the electorate. It's a recipe for disaster, and Bill Maher isn't the only one calling it out.
I think that there's something happening on the progressive side that it feels like almost all masculinity is considered toxic.
Right.
And so I think the young men may not feel welcome. Like if you're
true.
In other words, I don't think it's so much of a pull of an Andrew Tate, though that's playing a role. I think it just may be a push. Like if you show up and you want to be just like a regular, guy's guy, you just may not be eating enough kale and doing enough yoga to fit in on the left.
It's true. Just being a man is a little suspect. Yeah, no, and I think this winds up being not good for women either, because I don't think women like that. Well, I mean,
right.
I mean, the rhetoric may be one thing, but at the end of the day, I know we're all gay and we're all fluid now and we're all trans and but a lot of people are still the old school. There was
the old school from 12 years ago.
Well, there was a default setting.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Men embracing their natural roles and contributing as men is undeniably one of the most powerful forces for societal advancement. No matter how the woke left tries to twist the narrative, the truth remains. When men take on their traditional roles, whether as fathers, providers, protectors, or leaders, they bring stability, structure, and responsibility. These qualities form the foundation of a thriving society. Yet the left's current narrative seeks to undermine these roles, pushing the message that masculinity is toxic or outdated. But here's the reality. Society doesn't function without these core principles. The left can try to shame men for embodying their roles, but at the end of the day, strong, responsible men are the bedrock upon which progress is built. Men provide that balance and strength, qualities that are crucial not only for family units, but for the nation as a whole. The ongoing attack on masculinity isn't just an attack on men, it's an attack on the very foundation that holds everything together.
And a lot of women, I think, still want a man to be a man, not an abusive man, but just a man.
Yes.
Yes, I remember, hey.
You're canceled. How dare you?
Yeah, I remember when my mother was a widow the last 15 years of her life. She was always, unhappy, and she said, I just miss male energy. I need male energy, So, good thing we got plenty of it right here on the panel.
The term woke has completely lost its original meaning. What once began as a call for awareness and social justice has devolved into a chaotic mess of performative outrage and pure absurdity. Instead of engaging in thoughtful discussions about real issues, we're bombarded with an endless stream of ridiculous ideas forced upon us. Woke used to stand for staying alert to injustice and inequality. Fair enough, but fast forward to today, and it's become a badge of honor for cancel culture warriors and virtue signalers more concerned with optics than truth. Now, everything is offensive, everyone's a victim, and common sense has been thrown out the window. We've reached a point where biological facts are up for debate, comedy is considered hate speech, and disagreeing with someone's opinion is treated like an act of violence. It's exhausting. People are waking up, not to the ideals of woke culture, but from them. They're tired of being guilt-tripped, shamed, and silenced just to fit into a hypersensitive echo chamber. The pendulum is swinging back, and folks are craving authenticity over activism theater.
is a word used by the Black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words
and
migrate.
So why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice, who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want,
Okay.
because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't know, want to call it the super far left, but don't tell me the left
Or maybe the super far right.
Well, he's
Well,
talking about the left. Well, then
Okay,
not woke.
but we talked about that. I mean, I think we agree about the danger of the super far right, and I can't say it enough. I think they're the bigger threat. But don't tell me that the left hasn't changed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when it was the conservatives who hated the Jews.
This is the same reason so many Americans didn't vote for Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. The left had simply become too toxic, too smug, too extreme, and too out of touch with everyday people. Americans were fed up. They saw through the carefully curated sound bites, the constant race baiting, the gender politics, and the condescending moral lectures from people who rarely practice what they preach. What once was a party of the people slowly morphed into a coastal elite echo chamber, treating middle America like a punchline. Kamala Harris, with her robotic laugh and scripted talking points, became the symbol of that disconnect. She wasn't relatable, she was manufactured, and voters saw right through it. The Democratic Party thought identity politics would carry them across the finish line, but Americans are smarter than that. People want leadership, not lectures. They want jobs, not jargon. They want results, not re-education. The left went all in on performative politics, and the country responded by walking away. Because at the end of the day, people are tired of being told what to think, how to feel, and who to blame. They just want leaders who get it, and it's clear the left doesn't. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.